Welcome in. This is 300 yards to unknown. I'm Rick Gehman. That right there, Eric Patterson, who you can find on The Score and at ePat Golf. ePat, we were just talking before we went hot. We were struggling for ideas this week. There wasn't a lot of news. I was crowdsourcing things on Twitter, and then a few hours before we hit the record button, Augusta National dropped some news on us. So I think we've got plenty to talk about now.
Yeah, you're right. Last week it was a little bit of a slow news week. Patrick Cantlay did take it down, which was nice for me, and finally got back in the winner's circle. But aside from that, not a lot really happened. But yeah, Augusta gifted us with not only a great teaser video yesterday. I'm not sure. I've never seen gates open so dramatically and just perfectly before. And then, they drop a nice little news bomb on us today with plenty of goodness.
All right, let's just jump right into this. So here is how the Masters will look different. Not only will it be in November, of course, but there will be no par 3 contests. They will use split tees for the first 2 rounds, which actually makes sense because they're going to have a lot less daylight in November than they would in April. And then here's the one I did not see coming, Eric. College game day will be on site on Saturday. So that the game of the night is Alabama at LSU. That's the CBS game. That's the collaboration. But I did not see a college game day and a Augusta National, a Masters collab happening.
I mean, I didn't see it either, but I will do a little hat tip to Chris Powers from Golf Digest. He hinted at this when the Masters was moved and almost wrote like a little preview as to why they should mesh them together, which I mean, for them to come together and do this is pretty cool. I'm not sure if I'll be watching game day, to be honest. I typically don't watch it. I'll probably be tuning into the early third round coverage, but it is cool. And Fred Ridley laid it out. He's like, we're going to draw more eyeballs to this by, hyping up the Masters and then maybe the Sunday final round while bringing in like a college football audience. So it's a nice little mix of 2 sports there.
This is smart. This is what you should do when you don't have necessarily fans on site, right? And you can set up the college game day, apparatus, everything that they have going on there, and you can cross promote 2 major. Because it was going to be weird where the Masters has never competed with college football. It's never competed with the NFL, and I was kind of interested to see what ratings might be like if the big Bohemian, if the Masters could draw the numbers that it usually gets, and now the collab is interesting to try to get as many eyeballs as possible.
I mean, yeah, you're like you said, they're leaning into it perfectly. They're not going to take away eyeballs from football, but maybe they'll have people flick back and forth or just draw their attention to the tournament as a whole. So yeah, I'm excited for it. I loved Dylan DeShare came out with a tweet where Lee Corso was grabbing a giant Bryson head.
I saw that.
He was about to throw it on. So
the memes have been so good already.
Yeah, like your boy there, Kyle Porter, was pulling out a lot of Phil Mickelson betting, college football betting tips. Phil might find his way onto the booth if he makes the cut before his third round tee time.
We are recording the first cut later this afternoon, and I know Kyle is just he is foaming at the mouth to be talking about college game day and Phil Mickelson and everything else that's going to be happening. Like, it's going to be a lot of fun. But yeah, this is pretty cool. I wonder if Phil misses the cut, if he'll just go like full on, just like join. I don't know if Corso will be there. I think Corso's been doing it from like his home. So I don't know who's actually going to be on site, but like Phil, just put him behind the desk. Let's see what happens.
Even if CBS brings him into the broadcast, like they did, I forget when that was.
Memorial?
Maybe. I thought it might have been a major, but I could be wrong. Yeah, I completely forget. Maybe it was Memorial when Jack was there, and then they brought Phil. But yeah, he should find his way into the booth regardless, even if it's before or after, whenever, at some point in time.
Absolutely phenomenal. And then, of course, the Masters, never to be outdone with technology. So last year, I'm going to try to describe this from memory, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, EPAT. Last year, they had basically, it wasn't in real time, but like you could see every shot from every player within a few minutes, right? So they had a shot tracker that was set up, and then you could actually click on like, oh, that approach from whoever into the third green, and you could see the actual shot because they'd have a camera set up basically behind everybody or whatnot, right? So that's what they had last year. Am I accurate there?
Yeah, that's right. It wasn't as fast as I would have hoped, but it was. You could see every shot taken that week. So
yeah, eventually, yeah. I don't know if it was. I remember it being a couple minutes. I don't know if it was longer than that. But you could eventually see every shot from every player. Now this year, they're building on that, so they're unveiling a feature called My Group, which is going to allow you to build a personalized feed of every shot from your favorite players, ensuring that you won't miss any action. So to me, this is kind of now just the next step in the evolution of seeing every shot the way they had it last year. But now you can say, okay, for example, here are the 5 golfers that I bet. Here are the 6 golfers that are in my lineup. Here's the 30 guys I want to keep track of this week. And I guess they'll, depending on how they present this, you'll be able to kind of follow along in real time or somewhat real time with all their shots and scores, I assume.
That's my understanding of it. I might have to go buy a few extra monitors to fill my screens with all my guys, or my group, I should say. But yeah, this is the step that we've wanted to see for a while. And like the personalized feed, like last year was great. You could see every shot, but you had to go through and find it yourself. You had to, scroll down the leaderboard or whatever, go to the certain hole. But if I'm picturing this as like creating your own layout with, you got your whole group one at the top or whatever, and like it's almost constantly like a feed. It's not like it's just like built up shots. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but I'm expecting it to be a lot less clicking and more just you build your monitor and you can just watch your guys play golf.
Yeah,
it might be a little delayed, but
I want my screen to be 25 little rectangles, one for each player, and as the feed comes in, as that shot is recorded in, it just says, okay, Jordan Spieth, second shot. And then I watch it. And then like now I've got my eyes on, like, that's how I want it to be. Well, I guess we'll find out in 2 weeks, but that would be phenomenal.
But just knowing the Masters, they typically don't mess these things up like other bodies that run tournaments, whether it's the PGA app that's always been a disaster, or just Shot Tracker being down. The Masters always nails it. So I fully trust them to be able to pull this off.
I do too. I wish they could be in charge of everything all the time. But they do awesome stuff. So I think we have to dive into some of these questions. So I tried to I was texting you last night, like, we got to figure out something to talk about. I'll just tweet it out, see what comes in. There's some weird stuff in the comments here. We'll go through some of these. We'll start with this one. Did you see the Brooks and Jenna Q&A on Instagram yesterday?
I did. I went through it all. I would say I paid attention to maybe 50% of the answers. I wouldn't be able to rattle them off the top of my head, but Koepka, he showed a little bit more personality than I think we're accustomed to, maybe because the questions weren't about his health, or they were just picking their favorite questions, but it was a good little Q&A.
Yeah. So if you missed out, it's probably still on Jenna's Instagram story at the moment. Brooks is playing 9 holes and there's a Q&A aspect. She's asking the questions, they're answering them together. First of all, Brooks looked like he was throwing darts at times. He looked like he was playing well.
Did you see his final score?
No, what was it?
7 under through 8. And ended because of darkness. But yeah, 7 under through 8 is not bad. No idea where he was playing, but
he cool. Lipped out for an albatross, I think, on like his second or third hole.
We're diving into Koepka's form based on 8 holes with Jenna.
But you're right. I think that it was definitely a side I've never seen of Brooks. I've kind of heard like there is this side to Brooks. He's fun loving, he's laid back, and I know he's laid back, but I mean, maybe just hates the questions from the media and all that stuff. And when he's at the tournaments, it's a bit more dialed in and focused, but this was definitely a different side of him that I enjoyed. He was laughing. He was talking about his favorite rapper. He was talking about how they met. It was just like different stuff. It was pretty cool.
There was one about him waxing his butt that that threw me off.
He lost a bet, right?
He lost a bet, so he's a man of his word, I guess. I'm trying to think of some of my other favorites. There was a few people aggregating these the Q&A as a story. It was some good stuff. He doesn't listen to music when he plays golf, which I found a little interesting because he seems someone who's like doesn't take golf that serious, but I would expect him to have the beats pumping when he's out there. Can
I tell you, I don't really listen to music ever.
I'm not a music guy either.
At all.
Yeah. I don't know what it's about, but
I don't have a favorite band. I can't name. I don't know the words to any songs. I don't know. If I'm listening to something, it is either like a podcast or what I will do, EPAT, and especially when I worked in an office, I did this, just like white noise or like The Social Network, that Facebook movie.
Right.
The soundtrack for that is just like really focused, like what you'd think like coders would listen to while they're like coding. I listen to that.
I used to crank classical music while I studied back in university, and I just like had like 6-7 songs that I would just listen on repeat. But yeah, I'm never the music guy, and I'm definitely not listening to classical music on the course. But I'll listen to it if one of my guys in the group has a speaker. But yeah, I mean, Brooks, he took it a little more serious than I thought in terms of the music on the course thing.
That question was from Dr. Rick, who actually, I think I'm going to play Tory with Dr. Rick in a couple of weeks. So good question. Dane wants to know what's trickier, planning a wedding during a pandemic where the guest list totals keep getting slashed, or trying to pick winners in the Bermuda field. And EPAT, I think this question's like custom for you, my friend.
Well, for those who don't know, Dane is my boss at the Score, so this is why he knows. Yeah, he knows what I'm up to a lot more than most people. But I would say, planning a wedding through a pandemic is definitely harder than picking it's hard to say. My fiance is doing a lot of planning, so I'm not gonna say? I'm not going to pretend like I'm doing a lot of the grunt work, but maybe with this field, picking a Bermuda Championship winner is hard.
I think statistically speaking, it might be the Bermuda field would be more difficult.
Yeah. But yeah, trimming down so my wedding is this Saturday. We had 120 guests originally, and we're down to 25. So that is, and what the funny thing is, we sent out our save the dates right at the beginning of the pandemic, and we've had to tell so many people that they've been cut. It's painful, but it's a lot of people are understanding about the situation. It's been brutal.
That's my nightmare, is like making that call, like, hey, you didn't make the cut. We'll catch you next time. Catch you next year.
I had to tell someone in my wedding party that their fiance is not coming.
Oh,
it's not great, but
not great.
We'll turn the page We'll turn the page on Sunday. It's been a stressful little run.
Like when you next year or whatever, you'll have to throw like we're
gonna do that. There's some key people missing the wedding. My fiance's father being one of them. Her sisters who stuck out in Eastern Canada. It's not coming. So we'll have to redo it in a year.
That's technically what we did. So we went to the courthouse and signed the papers and got married in April. And then because we had so many people from the East Coast, we threw what is essentially the reception in June or July. So like we just threw the party side of it and had everybody out. Obviously no COVID concerns at that time, but yeah, I can't imagine what you're.
So we have to do it outdoors, and right now the weather is I stink at weather, but it's calling for like 5 degrees Celsius, which I think is like 40, low 40s.
I was going to say, yeah, it'd be a little warmer than freezing, right? Yeah, so for us that'd be 32, so like 40 something.
It's going to be chilly, but we're tough Canadians. We'll be able to handle it.
Bundle up. All right, Clint. We can do 15 seconds on this. Beat the dead horse and talk about how the final group isn't broadcast until almost the back nine.
We had 2 of the top 3 players in the world in a final group of a pretty substantial tournament, and I think we saw 11 holes. They picked them up on number 9. Just outrageous. I don't get it.
Just all you need to compare this to is to any other sport and say, imagine if Aaron Rodgers versus Tom Brady, the coverage started with 13 minutes to go in the third quarter. Like,
yeah, I was gonna say like the 2-minute warning before half.
They would lose their mind.
It makes no sense. But so I guess because this tournament was supposed to be in Japan, they didn't have the same window. But
we knew about this.
I know. That's the only justification I could have for it.
And like the Golf Channel doesn't have that much going on. Like
So they had 4.5 hours of European Tour coverage. Love the Euro Tour, but 4.5 hours of the Italian Open and only 3 hours for the PGA event.
I will never understand. I mean,
like if I'm the PGA Tour, I'm just like, give them a discount. If they don't want to pay for the rights, just give them a discount. Get their product on the TV.
The PGA Tour, so they need their own channel. So
I kind of want it, but I don't.
They would destroy it. It would be, you'd only see the best shot. They would like, it would be terrible.
You would never see a bad shot. You would never have no bad words would be said about anyone. Bryson would have a picture perfect image.
I don't know if it's on Roku yet, but there is a PGA Tour streaming app that you can get on some devices, and they show consolidated versions of like old tournaments like all the time. So you basically see the coverage of every tournament in order. Like, it's actually pretty awesome. I just used to run it in the background and like watch old stuff, but I don't know how they would handle live. It would be probably disastrous.
I think we're heading towards a PGA Tour network at some point. I think it just makes too much sense for them to keep it in house, and hopefully they fix that problem.
It's too much money for them to not do it.
Yeah, they'll figure it out, but that was tilting for sure.
Sledgehammer says, is Will Zalatoris getting too much respect? 10-1 just blows my mind. This does not even take into account, Eric, that a guy with no PGA Tour status has now been the favorite in 2 separate events this year already.
It is pretty incredible that he just comes up here and he's the betting favorite in 50% of his starts. He's obviously playing the lower tier events, but he only has 1 professional win on his official World Golf page, which is a little concerning. I would think for someone who is, that caliber, he'd win more on the Corn Ferry, but he does crank up like so many. He just pumps out top 10 after top 10. I think he's getting too much respect, but I do understand why he's there.
I am as high on him as almost anybody, but I still think he's getting a little bit too much respect. So I haven't checked recently, but like 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, Data Golf had him ranked as like the 29th ranked player in the world by their own metrics, which feels aggressive. Okay. Like I think he's really good. I think he's going to be phenomenal. I think he's going to win Rookie of the Year. I've been talking about him for months, but he might be a top 50 player, but like 29 is pretty aggressive. I will say, we'll see, but no, I think it's a little big right now.
He might be the only rookie. I'm not sure how the rookie rankings work, but he might be one of the few who earn a special temporary membership, and he could be the only rookie.
Would he be rookie this season? He'd be rookie.
It would be season? I think it's when you gain your membership. I'm not sure.
Wow,
like again, I think it's for 2021. Yeah, unless someone else sneaks up and steals a membership, or one of those guys comes up and wins one of these events. I think he needs 3 points, 3 FedEx Cup points to get his special temporary, which is like a top 70.
I was gonna say he needs to make the cut.
Make the cut,
Brian Manning wants to know, a couple of months ago, Bryson was breaking some of the strokes gain metrics because of how far he was hitting the ball. Has that problem been resolved? So I actually looked this up the other day. So this was at Rocket Mortgage, Eric, where if you remember, he was hitting his drives so close to the green. I want to make sure I get this right, that his second shots were being
considered around the green.
Yes, instead of approach shots. So like he was like dead last in the field in proximity to the hole because it was like not counting his shots correctly. If you go back and look at that tournament, I believe that tournament is still broken. That's not, they did not retroactively fix it. And I don't know if they fixed it moving forward. I would guess they haven't, because you have to remember, this is now year 16 of ShotLink. There's a lot of procedures. There's a lot of things in place. I don't think it's as easy as saying, oh yeah, we'll just kind of like adjust this one thing and we can start counting his approach shots now.
This is one of them that needed some research, and I truthfully didn't do it. But so it was only breaking the proximity stat. It wasn't breaking strokes gained, because in theory, his one shot would account for almost 2 shots, and then he would just make it up through around the green and putting, right? I'm not sure how that and he might not even have played a course where he's like hitting it so close to the green that often where it would matter since the Detroit Open.
It definitely would not matter in his long-term numbers. It was probably 4 shots throughout the week.
Yeah.
If that, something like that.
But that's maybe I'm going to out myself as an idiot here, but if you do hit if it's a 320-yard hole and you hit your drive in the greenside bunker and then you chip on, you would gain, there's no strokes gained approach there. It's all off the tee. And then you would just gain around the green and putting.
Right.
So from a strokes gain standpoint, it's not really broken. It's just the proximity, because they were counting his drives as approach shot.
Yeah, I think that's right.
He was just gaining so many off the tee that he didn't need to hit many approach shots. Yeah, I think that's, I don't know.
Yeah.
The proximity stuff I don't really pay attention to, but.
Yeah, I looked at that a month ago and they didn't fix it, but you're right. Maybe there's nothing to fix. It's just weird because it's not a situation we've at least noticed before. It's probably happened before. There's probably been times where guys have hit a ball within 30 yards of the green, which is what I think the PGA Tour considers around the green versus approach, and we just never caught it, but we were all amped up on what Bryson was doing that week, and somebody
that's exactly what it was.
And pointed it out. I don't know how much knowledge you have on this situation. So Matthew wants to know the best budget-friendly home simulator. Do you have any idea about these simulators?
I know a little bit, but I'm not sure if I could create a budget-friendly one.
I believe the budget-friendly one is Skytrack.
Yeah, I think, haven't you looked into this?
Yes. So
Yeah,
I've done some fair bit of research into this. I want to put one in the garage, and now we're probably moving. So I don't know, figure it out in the new space. But from what I understand, Skytrack will be your best budget friendly. Now, I think the launch monitor itself is like $3,000. And then you can hook it up to like any laptop, basically any computer. You might have to buy the software. You have to have the hitting net and all that stuff, but you could get the actual launch monitor for, I think, like $3,000. And that is, from what I understand, the best, cheapest. Like you can go get that like Flight Scope Mevo or whatever for
the little pocket one.
Yeah, I think it's like $500 or whatever. And I think you can hook it up to like an iPad or whatever. But from what I understand, the Skytrack is the best budget friendly option, and the best version of it.
I trust you at your word. I just know like the ones they're using on the range, like the TrackMan and that Foresight one, like that quad launch monitor, like 10-20 grand. So I don't think that's budget, but yeah, I would assume there's like you said, that Flight Scope Mevo is probably around $1,000. That probably has some sort of simulator aspect to it, but you're probably right with the Skytrack.
The TrackMan, which just because I'm a glutton for punishment, I wanted to go see how much these things cost to like set up a simulator in your house. So you get they set up like the flex cage for you. It has like the computer and the launch monitor and all the stuff. Any idea what that would run you, Eric, for them to set up a custom TrackMan in your house?
I don't know if I even want to guess this. Like 60 grand.
Well, in that case, then you are getting a good deal, my friend. It's only they start at 44,000.
Start at okay.
Yes.
I'm going top of the line here.
Yeah, so you would get custom printed sides, and you would be able to use it a different light, so you could use it outside and stuff like that. But yeah, if you got $44,000 laying around, you can get yourself a TrackMan at home. Probably not the budget option.
Yeah, that's I'm a few years away from that, maybe a few GPP wins away from that, but not right now in the plans.
Andrew Brooks wants to know, this is where do people come up with this stuff? Of all active golfers, who are the top 5 in terms of the betting odds at the 2030 Masters? So 10 years from now. I guess I got a couple of guys that come to mind. Where are we going here?
10 years from now?
Yeah.
I think Morikawa is the favorite, followed closely by Wolf and Hovland, and then Sung Jae.
Nice.
I think they'll all be like right over their 30s.
So you know what the real answer to this is?
John Rahm?
No, the answer is we don't know yet. That person does not. Oh, I guess it's of all active golfers, but like the truth.
Oh, you're thinking there's like a 15-year-old out there right now dominating the junior circuit.
What did Morikawa just do in the last 18 months? Right. And he's now like, I don't know what he is, the 8th favorite to win at Augusta. 2 years ago, the vast majority of anybody even knew who he was. Right. I mean, and now these guys are getting so much better, so much younger. There's going to be somebody who's like class of, I don't know, 2000. I'm trying to figure this out.
Yeah, I can't do the math either.
Like 2028, who's going to be like one of the top 5 betting favorites.
I will tell you that whoever it is in 2030, I'm guessing they'll be hitting it probably 360, 370 off the tee.
Yeah.
That was one thing from Brooks's Q&A. They said, well, what would you tell any young golfer right now? And he just goes, try and learn to hit it as far as you possibly can. And then you tighten it up from there. Just hit it as far as you can, which is the Bryson motto. And then you go and figure it out after that. But yeah, come 2030, these guys, if they don't do any changes, it's going to be whoever's hitting at 380 will be headlining the Masters betting board.
Yeah. Here's maybe my favorite. This question says, can you answer for your fans where your unwarranted sense of self-confidence and narcissism comes from? And I was thinking, is that question for me or for Eric? And I said, it's probably for me. So maybe he's right. Maybe I am a narcissist because I thought that question was for me, but I don't
I don't
know.
think it's for me. I don't think it's for me.
I
I
think,
don't know. I don't really
well,
get
then it's
it.
definitely not you. Then it's
I
definitely
don't
me.
know. I'm not sure. That seemed a little trolly, so I cruised by it.
Do
But
you?
yeah, you said years of practice was the answer, so good
I
on
don't
you.
like. Listen, I don't know, man. If that's the way you feel, apologies. What do you do with trolls? Do you mute? Do you block? Because I'm kind of in between on this right now.
I think I truthfully don't get trolled that much, but I just know that if I were a troll, I would be looking for a reaction. So I think
Yeah,
no reaction is the best medicine for them. That's all they're only commenting so you fire something back. I've
correct.
done it personally. I do fire back sometimes, but it is best to just leave it alone. There's a lot of loose cannons on the internet, so you just got to ignore them when they show up.
I liberally use the mute button like a lot. But and I've just started blocking people for the first time. But yeah, I rarely engage because that's what they want. That's like a victory.
Man, the block button I don't think I've ever used, although I was nervous I was going to get blocked by Use Golf Facts this week.
Because she was on it again.
Yeah, I love how we say it's she. Could be anyone. We don't know who
Yeah,
it
it's
is.
anybody in
But
the
we
world.
do think Justine was firing off about left pins again for the Sunday for the final round of the Zozo. Everyone, one guy got blocked. The first comment he goes, "Geez, Justine, go enjoy the NFL football or something. Just like pay attention to the NFL." And she got instantly blocked. And like I said, Justine from the top rope with a GIF, and I was kind of sweating that I would get blocked by her because that's a fun account to follow.
It's really fun. That's why I don't respond to it, is because I want to just keep. I actually have the alerts on for that. There's only 3 accounts that I have alerts on for.
Who are
That
your alerts?
so that one, because she doesn't tweet often, but when she does, it's a
good.
doozy. Then PGA Tour comms, right?
Yeah, same as me.
You have to, and then a First Cut podcast is the only that I want to see.
I follow. I got only Tiger and PGA comms.
Yeah, PGA comms is that's like a business decision.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm going to put the Used Golf Facts. I kind of like just cruising and seeing if she was firing off some takes when I was not paying attention.
I love it.
She's Justine. What a girl.
Top 5 Masters moments. You don't have to name 5 of them, but when I say Masters, what's the very first thing that pops into your brain?
When you say Masters,
Yeah,
it's so recency bias, but because it was the only one I've ever covered so far, it was last year with Tiger.
yeah, I think.
Or, man, I should probably know the year. 05 when he chipped in with the ball hanging on the cup. I remember vividly watching that one in my basement and like screaming at my parents upstairs. That's a good one.
That one I think is the one for a lot of people, and probably myself included, just because I remember where I was. It was Tiger. It was late. It was I mean, if that was a scene in a movie, we would have been like, unrealistic. This is the worst. This is stupid. It was that good.
That was peak Masters excitement for sure.
And then the other one is Jordan Spieth having to put the green jacket on Danny Willett in Butler cabin, and his face is seared into my brain. I will never forget that. That
was tough. That was a tough watch. So that was like when Feinberg and Mayo, that was like their coming out party because they had Willett, and that was just those are the ones you don't want to remember because your heart just keeps sinking every time you put a ball in the water.
I also feel like it was the first, I remember that being memed so much, right? Where the jacket was the crying Jordan. I'll have to find that one.
Yeah, that was
and I just remember being like, oh my God. And like every time I refreshed, there was another meme and Jordan's face, and it was just like, this is bad. This is so bad.
That was before I was deep into golf Twitter, but I can imagine that was a fun one for the internet to have. Personally, for a Canadian, I got to shout out Mike Weir, 2003. That was about as good as it gets for a Canadian golf fan. Although it was against Len Matisse. I'm not sure if many people would know that trivia question. A fun win for our country.
Speaking of Spieth, Mike Hennessy just says Spieth takes all of them, which I think is kind of hilarious. Just like blank slate Spieth take. I have the same Spieth take that I've had for like 9 months, which is I thought he should, and I thought he would take one more run at Augusta with Greller. And when that didn't happen, they would split. Now, I don't know if that timetable has been moved to November. I just think this is like when you fire a manager in baseball, it's not the manager's fault. It might not be the player's fault. They just need a different voice, and Spieth needs a different voice. So that has been my consistent Spieth take as of late, but I don't know how hot that is anymore.
No, I don't think it's hot, but I think it's like probably the correct one, or like one of the few that makes a lot of sense. Is just a change of, you can't really have a change of scenery in golf, but you can definitely have a change of team and coach, caddy, whoever that is might need to reshuffle some positions. He had his dad on the bag and looked like he was actually having fun with his dad on the bag. Obviously, maybe that opened his eyes to like, maybe, I don't know. He didn't play well at the Zozo Championship, but I don't know. He needs a change. I just can't. You can't keep doing the same thing over and over again.
All right, maybe one more, and then we'll get into what is this tournament? Bermuda. Oh my God, I completely blanked. This one's interesting. This one caught me off guard. Can't we get a better DraftKings scoring system? This is from Pinche Raleigh. Do we have beef with the DraftKings scoring system?
I don't know. I don't know what needs revising, what needs changing. I think it's pretty. We're just so used to it. I haven't really even considered options to change it, to be honest. I don't even know what you do.
That's why I was so caught off guard on this. Like, okay,
I didn't know people had issues with it.
Right. Like we have plenty of hot, like, I could have guessed that the one was going to come about the TV coverage. I could have guessed, master stuff would have come, but like this one caught me legit off guard. I mean, I guess maybe the argument is, I don't even know if this is an argument. Like you're rewarding the guys who go birdie, bogey, birdie, bogey, birdie, bogey instead of par, 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 par. But is that like?
I think we're just so accustomed to that, and it makes a lot of sense. You're trying to make birdies in golf, and you get penalized for making bogey. Like, I don't know. I think it's fine.
I actually do have a beef being a data guy. Is so what I always thought was the best about fantasy sports was you could open up the newspaper, and this is what's great about fantasy football too. You can open up the newspaper, you can look at the box score, and you can know exactly how many points your player had, right? You've got receptions, you've got yards, you've got touchdowns. The DraftKings scoring system incorporates streaks. So like the 3 birdies in a row, which is not really a box score stat. That is a score that's deeper level. That's more advanced than just like your standard box score stuff. So maybe that's my only complaint, is that you cannot look at the results page or look at like the quote unquote box score and determine what the DraftKings score was.
I know. I think golf box scores are more scorecards, not just like leaderboard. I don't know.
Maybe.
And you're still opening up the newspaper to check box scores?
No. When's the last time you opened a newspaper?
I don't know. I usually go in when I'm at like my cottage or my fiance's cottage. I'll do the word jumble once in a while when I'm a little bored.
The jumbles.
Because I'm a big word jumble guy. That's about it.
It was probably 20 years ago for a school project. I don't think I've actually ever like willingly opened up a newspaper.
You should go get one. Get the ink on your hands. I used to deliver newspapers, so I have a little bit of appreciation
on your bike.
I was more of a rollerblade guy. There's a little more efficiency to that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, was it?
I went right up to the house, right into the mailbox, not just throw it on the driveway.
That's good of you. So was it every single house, or did you have to know which ones were subscribed and which ones weren't?
No, every house got it. Only did half the street though, so it was a little bit easier. But yeah, that's earning some hard-earned bucks back when I was like 11, 12 years old.
I love it. We're really getting the origin story rounded out for Eric Patterson on how he's gotten to this point of life. We'll continue to deep dive that in future eps. All right. We got to talk about Bermuda, which, by the way, phenomenal logo, right? I mean, it's got the great
Bermuda triangle.
They lean into the triangle for the A. This is A+ stuff right here.
It's always so jarring for me because I pulled up Windfinder to find Bermuda on a map. It's like usually you associate Bermuda to the Caribbean, but you got to go halfway into the Atlantic Ocean to go find it. I guess it gets good weather, but it seems a little north for, to be considered a tropical island.
I don't know I guess I could go look at what the Brendan Todd trophy looks like, but
It's a triangle.
Okay, I was hoping it was just a giant like the Zozo giant circle, just be a giant.
It's just
triangle.
I have a picture of it here, just a wooden triangle on top of 2 wooden blocks. It's pretty bad, but
perfect.
They're leaning into the Bermuda Triangle there.
All right, 3 picks here. Last week, our sleepers were Kevin Na and Sebastian Munoz. I actually think we did pretty well there. I don't have the leaderboard in front of me.
Na finished like 20th. Munoz, again, the guy just always is in the mix. Him and Lanto, we talked about it again. They're the same guy.
It's an easy
Crank
game.
out another top 15. Yeah, easy game. We should go back because I noticed they were in some pretty big winning lineups. Like to go back and figure out how much money those guys have earned. Like how many Millie makers have they taken down? Because there's so many lineups where I feel like they would be in the mix or near the top.
And the thing is, they always seem to play well at the same time. So they're like always both in the lineup or something like that. Like it's weird.
It's really weird. Both of them were in, I think, the big $100,000 winning lineup this week.
Munoz was T14. Na was like he must have collapsed then because he like touched
late double bogey.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I was tracking them, but
yeah. So those were our sleepers. Our top 10. Ooh, Epat, you had Bubba Watson. Well done. T4, that counts. I had Justin Thomas, T2, that counts. Wow, we're so far so good. And then our one and done, you had Matthew Wolf, who that ain't gonna cut it.
So I don't know what he started off well and then just started hitting him OB, and same story as it was at the CJ Cup. Yeah, disappointing.
He finished well though. He shot a 66 on Sunday, moved up, but like he shot a 75 on Saturday when scoring was like absolutely torrid.
I know.
And I had Patrick Reed, who finished T14. Right, whatever. I need more left pins.
Yeah, you just start retweeting use golf facts. If it's a left pin day, that's when like if you're gonna play Reed in Showdown, you got to get the pin sheet out. He's like one of the guys where it actually matters.
I gotta look. If I had the time and I was willing to do this, I would go back and look at left pins versus right pins and see if he actually plays better on left. Like what is he shooting rounds?
Or if there is a case to be made that the PGA Tour puts more pins on the right or on the left when it doesn't matter as much. Because her argument is like, she says left pins on par 5s doesn't matter.
right.
Such a great, absurd take.
That is
deep.
Right. She is so deep down the pin position rabbit hole that it like, I'm so impressed by it. Gotta love
She is a subscriber to PGA Tour Com's tweets. And when they fire out the pin sheet, she's opening that up and getting the counter out every time.
I love it. Sleepers for this week in Bermuda. Epat, throw me a dart. Who do you like?
Frig. I will go. It's a little bit off the board. No, it is. It's off the board because he hasn't been playing well, but I'm going to go with Max Homa. I think he is better than a lot of players in this field. Hasn't been playing great, but I saw on the NLU story, No Laying Up story, that he recently shot a course record, so his game has to be in decent shape. 100 to 1.
Okay,
90 to 1.
I was going to ask you what his odds are. Okay, 9. Yeah, he's been bad, man. It's a shame.
Been bad.
I like him. I'll just take. Man, this is such a chalky one. I'll just take Wes Bryan. He's
everyone's on the West wagon.
I think if there's ever a week, it's this week. I mean, you gotta remember he lost strokes off the tee 17 events in a row, and now he's gained 4 in a row. Like, I'm gonna assume he figured something out.
So what I was just thinking, because I feel like people were on Wesley Bryan maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago when we were in Punta Cana, and then we got Mayakoba coming up in a few weeks. It's the same tournament over and over, same field, same course, same comparable courses.
We'll be right
so if you
back
like guys this week, stick with them in Mayakoba in a few weeks.
Top 10. So it's either a yes or a no. This golfer finishes inside the top 10. Eric Patterson, take the stage.
I just wrote guys up, so I'm just going to stick with who I wrote up. I'm going to go with, this is greasy because I never take him, but Charlie Hoffman.
Why?
Finished well in Punta Cana recently, top 6 at the Sanderson Farms. He's won in Mexico at Mayakoba before. I don't know. there's something going on with these like 40-year-old golfers winning golf tournaments. So I think Charlie Hoffman, top 10.
Okay, I like it. I'm gonna take. I'm such a sucker. I'll just take Doc here. So I'll take Doc Redman. He is 25-1 to win. He's 2.2-1 to finish inside the top 10. I think he's a great ball striker. The stats bear it out. I like him. So
he could have been like the favorite, and I wouldn't have really argued. Like if he was like 16-1, not 25 or 28 or wherever he is now.
It sucks because he's like, so he's clearly one of the better players in this field, but his world ranking isn't good enough to get, like, he was like the 8th alternate at both the CJ Cup and the Zozo. So it's like,
and he was like on the cusp at the US Open, wasn't he?
Yeah. So yeah, he was the last man who didn't get in. I think 2 alternates got in. He was the 3rd alternate at Winged Foot. So it's just like, oh my God, like he's so close to being in all these great fields, but now he's playing as like, the 5th favorite of the Bermuda Championship instead.
Yeah. And that's why I think he's going to win one of those events where he's like 50-1, not 22-1, but we'll see. I like Doc. I always like Doc.
All right, one and done. You have used, speaking of Doc, you used him at the Safeway, which I think he got you a T3 there. You've used Xander, Sam Burns, Ricky Fowler, Colin Morikawa, and Matthew Wolff. I have used Joel Damon, John Rahm, Scotty Scheffler, Patrick Cantlay a couple weeks too early, Xander, and Patrick Reed. So I get to go first here. Reed over Wolff last week. I'm just going to take Will Z. I'll take Zalatoris. I'll take the favorite. I haven't used him yet. I can't imagine I need to save him for anywhere else. I feel like whoever you play this week was someone you're probably not going to play anywhere else anyway.
Yeah, that's probably right.
So I might as well just take
the favorite.
Yeah.
I mean, your strategies are maybe a little more sound than mine. I'm going to go with Henrik Stenson.
Played well last time. He was in a.
Yeah, he won won. It's crazy how few tournaments he's played. I think his win at the Hero World Challenge was like 7 starts ago, and that was almost a year ago. So he just hasn't been playing a lot. Played solid in Punta Cana. Again, these like old guys he's outside the top 50. I think he wants to crack back in there and get some WGCs under his belt, get ready for the Ryder Cup. So I think Stenson, he's one of the better players in this field, 40-1.
If you take Stenson, I think you have to hope the wind starts to kick.
Did you see the wind looks pretty juicy? Might get some like 30-mile-per-hour sustained winds on the weekend, which is
it's gonna be
fireworks.
It's gonna be fun. Eric Patterson, his work on thescore.com. You can find him on Twitter at @epatgolf. Recap of the picks for Eric: sleeper Max Homa, top 10. Charlie Hoffman, one and done. Henrik Stenson for me, who you can find on Twitter at RickRunGood. Sleeper Wesley Bryan, top 10. Doc Redman, one and done. Will Zalatoris. Sound good?
Love it. Go Charlie.
Beauty. All right. This has been 300 yards to unknown, and we'll catch you next time.